Hello. So in this video, I'm going to go over a few movement techniques in Quake 3, some strafe jumping, bunny hopping, and I will explain how they function, and give you some tools to practice these and some things to think about. So I'm using Defrag, which is a Quake 3 mod, designed specifically for movement-based gameplay and for like racing and stuff. So I will leave a link to that in the description. I'm not going to go over how to set up the game, but it's actually, never mind. I will once you download the game, or once you download the mod, open your Quake 3 folder and just drop the defrag folder into your Quake 3 folder. It's that easy. And then once you open up Quake 3, just load it in the mod section. But I'll go over how to move in Quake 3 and some little things to help you practice. So first of all, while we're on the menu screen, we're going to go to Defrag Setup, and under HUD, where it says Camping Gas HUD, we're going to set that to 1. Open the console and type in devmap. Devmap. Q3, not tonic, let's do Q3BM6. Okay, so to explain the HUD a bit, there are 2 bars along the screen. The bottom one is just a compass. We don't have to worry about the information on the compass. But the top one shows you where to put your crosshair if you want to gain speed. This isn't super important at the moment, but it will come into play a bit later once we actually get into strafe jumping. So we'll start with strafe jumping because that is in pretty much every version of Quake 3, and that's going to be the one that you will use the most. And I'll break it down into parts. So if you look at the speedometer on the left side here, you can see if I hold W, it just goes up to 320 units. But when I hold W, then I turn, you can see already that the speedometer is going up as I'm turning. I'm going slightly faster. Now, when I hold W and I press a strafe key as well, you can see it changes a bit. And so if I keep doing this, it goes up as well. So those are 2 methods of gaining speed that are important to strafe jumping. And the other half is keeping the speed. So if I, for example, if I do this, you can see that the speed goes back down again. But if I do it and then keep jumping, I don't lose the speed unless I bump into something. And the important thing is to press jump the moment you land on the ground. Quake 3 has a function where you can press space slightly before you hit the ground, and it will still read the input. I'm not pressing space exactly when I land on the ground, but as long as you get it close enough, you will keep jumping the frame you land. Whereas if I jump and then I stop, I lose all the speed again. So strafe jumping is basically a combination of all 3 of these things. So if I jump and I hold A and W and I turn left slowly, you can see that I'm gaining speed. And the same for if I hold D and I turn right. And this is where the bar at the bottom of the screen comes into play. Basically, So long as your crosshair is as close to the little green bit as possible, I will be gaining speed. Which is why you don't want to turn too fast when you strafe jump. For example, if I do it like this, because it's way out of the area of the HUD where I can gain speed, I'm losing it actually quite quickly. You want to keep it kind of as close towards the green on the inside as you can. So if I'm strafe jumping left, I want to keep it as much towards the right as possible without going out of the green. And the opposite goes for if I'm strafe jumping right. I want to keep it as far on the left as possible without going off the HUD. So once you've practiced that, just going in one direction, you're now going to want to start maintaining a straight line. And the way you do this is by strafe jumping, and then changing the direction you're strafe jumping in. So if I want to go through this doorway, I start at the end over here. Generally, I do 2 jumps left and then 2 jumps right. I do 2 jumps left, then I switch to the right. And when I switch directions, I'm changing the direction that I'm turning in, and I'm changing the strafe key that I'm pressing. And that will allow you to maintain the speed in a straight line rather than just veering off in the direction you're strafing in. And notice that when I change direction, I'm still keeping my crosshair over the green, so that I can still keep gaining speed. So that is strafe jumping, and that's the most common kind of movement that you will see in Quake III. It's very good for traveling long distances in straight lines. And you can gain speed. It's fairly easy. But to start a strafe jump, or to cross a gap, or anything like that from standing still, you want to do what's called a circle jump. And essentially what a circle jump is just a very quick flick in the direction that you want to move in. So if I'm stood on the ground, I hold W, I press A, and I turn. You can see I can turn a lot faster than when I'm strafe jumping. And you can see how much speed I'm gaining from that. So, if I would... Oops. That was my killbind. If I want to travel towards this back wall here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start facing 90 degrees towards the right, and then I'm going to do a circle jump to the left. So I hold W, A, and turn very quickly, and then jump. And I'm going to do the opposite if I want to travel from here over there. Let's say I'm facing this way. Hold W and D, and then flick and press space. So generally, if you can get up to around 500 units, that's about how good you can get. And it gives you just a little push to be able to cross gaps. Now, when you get good at strafe jumping and at circle jumping, there is a specific jump on this map known as bridge to rail. The railgun spawns over there on that ledge, and this is bridge. And you cross this gap. You'll notice, well, that was a botched attempt. But you'll notice if I just do a circle jump here, it's slightly too far to make it. I keep messing this up. But basically this gap is pretty much impossible to cross with just one strafe jump. or one circle jump. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine one circle jump with one strafe jump to cross this gap. So I'm going to line myself up with this, and then circle jump in this direction over here, and then continue the strafe jump into that doorway, like so. It takes a bit of time to get used to, but once you're able to do it, this is kind of one of the most known trick jumps in Quake, or in Quake 3 at least, and you should be able to pull it out whenever. So those are two of the techniques that are useful in all Quake 3 versions. But now we're going to go over bunny hopping, which is not a feature of base Quake 3, but it's what the movement is like in Quake World or Quake 1, and it's what the mod CPMA allows you to do. So I completely forgot that you can go into a random map through this menu, tricks mode. You can set movement to VQ3 or CPM, and then you can go through, I'm just going to do Pro Q3 DM6. So bunny hopping allows you to change direction in the air without losing speed, and it's extremely easy. The best analogy that I've heard for this is that when you turn, let's say I'm trying to go through this doorway, there's a pillar here, and as I'm going here through to the doorway, I'm grabbing the pillar and I'm turning around it. Now to actually make the turn, when you're in the air, you let go of W, and then if I want to turn right, I hold D and I move my mouse. If I want to turn left, I hold A and I move my mouse. So you can see it's almost like a car, but the pole analogy I think really is the best. This is a good corner to demonstrate it with. I'm not immediately turning, like snapping. I'm turning around this corner here. I'm grabbing onto the pole in the middle and I'm swiveling around it. So that's air strafing. And once you combine strafe jumping, circle jumping, bunny hop, you can generally get around quite quickly. And that's what creates the incredibly fast gameplay of CPMA. It's just being able to move around this fast, being able to go wherever. So, yeah. For this next part, I'm going to need a different map than campgrounds. So what I will do is I will put a link to the map in the description. It has a lot of tree jump stuff. So this next portion is a bit less about gaining speed. It's more about vertical things, certain ways that you can go around specific obstacles. So the map is in the description. It's named B0 Beta 6. And once you install that, we're going to go into tricks mode. And here it is at the top here. We're going to set movement to CPM. And press play. So this map is good for practicing your movement in a place that looks like, an actual location. This is specifically for CPMA. So if you're just using VQ3, which is just base Quake 3, just strafe jumping and circle jumping, this map is impossible. But if you're using CPMA physics with bunny hopping and air strafing, it's made for that. So here's a really good demonstration of the first trick we're going to go over here. If I jump, I only go like a fixed height, but if I jump and then jump onto a ledge and jump off of it, I gain more height. So the trick here, you're going to press W and jump so that you are touching the lip with your feet. And then, similar to the way that you jump the frame that you hit the ground, when you're bunny hopping or you're strafe jumping, you just want to do that with the moment that you touch the lip. the setup is easier if you kind of jump so that you're knocking into it slightly and it catches you mid-jump so you stop moving. Because then you can be sure that you're going to go up the ledge and actually be touching it. Rather than if I just jump and I'm falling down onto it. It's a lot more difficult to clear. So the second trick here is ramp jumping. If you have a slanted piece of geometry, like a slope or something, or this is just, you know, at a 45-degree angle, when you jump on it, you go even higher, or when you jump off of it, you go even higher, sorry. So if I do this, you can see I already go quite high. Now in this bit, it's combined with a stair jump to give you even more height. And you can see how high that takes me. So those are the basic CPM movement techniques. Actually, there's one more. If I hold W, I don't gain as much speed, but you can see I can strafe even tighter than I can if I air strafe. And so, this section here, you can do a W strafe to get down here. You can do a normal air strafe as well, but the W strafe lets you do it tighter than the air strafe. And so there are a few maps where that's useful. One thing that comes to mind is on CPM 3A. I'll put a video of it here. On CPM 3A, there is the jump pad, which you can W strafe to the top of to get to the mega health. It's a bit more niche of a strafe jumping method. It's, or not strafe jumping, bunny hopping method. You're not always going to see it, but there are a few places where it's worth knowing. So, but that covers basic Quake III movement. So, thank you for watching.